It's time for the podcast. Yeah, the podcast is starting.
What's a podcast?
It's all gonna be alright in the end. It's gonna be alright. And if you've got some worries, my dear little friends, please rest your busy minds, because it's finally time for stories from now and then.
Hey kids, welcome back to Stories from Now and Then. Here in the good old library, it's good old Captain Blunderface. And I have Blunderface Jr. here with me.
Hi, Dad. Hey, everyone. It's great to be here. Also, do we have permission to use the library for this?
Yeah, of course we do. Blunderface Jr. is actually here learning the ropes because one day he wants to make this little section of the old library his own for his own amazingly magical exploration of
Dad,
stories.
I actually want to be a professional soccer player. Are you trying to live vicariously through me again?
Dude, I thought this was your dream. You've been talking about it forever. 6 or 7 years.
Dad, I'm so over that trend. I'm not going to fall for that. Can we just get to the... Wow, I can't believe Deprecatus knows that trend.
Yeah, somehow Deprecatus keeps up with the times, even though he doesn't have a phone. Either way, before we venture into today's story with Nicola, we have a shout out for Afton in London, Ontario. Afton is celebrating his birthday pretty soon. Maybe even today. Afton, happy birthday. This story is for you. And it's also for your amazing older sister, Hendrix. Oh, and looks like it just got a message from our sponsor. Today's episode is sponsored by Guest Getter. They help restaurants bring in guests and keep them coming back, which is great because I personally forget where I like to eat unless someone reminds me. Guest Getter helps restaurants do that, but on purpose. Check them out at guestgetter.co. And with that, we'll leave it to the incredible Nicola to bring us today's story, The Endless Tale.
Right, before we start, I've got a little question for you. Have you ever heard of such a creature as a locust? Do you know what that is? A locust is like a large grasshopper, and this story is a story about locusts. Here we go. The Endless Tale. Long, long ago, in the Far East, there was a great king who had no work to do. Every day and all day long, he sat on soft cushions and listened to stories. And no matter what the story was about, he never grew tired of hearing it, even if it was very long. "There is only one problem with your story," he would often say. "It is too short." All the storytellers in the world were invited to his palace, and some of them told tales that were very long indeed. But the king was always sad when a story was ended. At last, he sent word into every city and town and country place, offering a prize to anyone who could tell him an endless tale. He said, "If there is any man who can tell me a story which should last forever, I will let my daughter marry him, and I will make him my heir, and he shall be king after me." But this was not all. He added a very hard condition. "But," he said, "if any man tries to tell such a story and then fail, he shall have his head cut off." Now the king's daughter was very lovely, and there were many young men in that country who were willing to do anything to marry her. But none of them wanted to lose their heads, and so only a few tried for the prize. One young man invented a story that lasted 3 months, but at the end of that time, he couldn't think of any more story to tell. His fate was a warning to others, and it was a long time before another storyteller was so brave as to try the king's patience. But one day, a stranger from the south came into the palace. "Great king," he said, "is it true that you offer a prize to the man who can tell a story that has no end?" "It is true," said the king. "And shall this man be allowed to marry your daughter, and shall he be king after you?" "Yes, if he succeeds," said the king. But if he fails, he shall lose his head." "Very well, then," said the stranger. "I have a pleasant story about locusts which I would like to relate." "Tell it," said the king. "I will listen to you." The storyteller began his tale. Once upon a time, there was a king who gathered together all the corn in his whole country and stored it away in a strong granary. But a swarm of locusts came over the land and saw where the grain had been put. After searching for many days, they found on the far side of the granary a crevice that was just large enough for one locust to pass through at a time. So one locust went in and carried away a grain of corn. Then another locust went in and carried away a grain of corn. Then another locust went in and carried away a grain of corn. Day after day, week after week, the man kept on saying, "Then another locust went in and carried away a grain of corn." A month went by, a year went by. At the end of 2 years, the king said, "How much longer will the locusts be going in and carrying away corn?" "Oh, king," said the storyteller, "they have only cleared a small space, and the granary is enormous." "Man, man," cried the king, "you will drive me mad. I can listen to it no longer. Take my daughter, be my heir, rule my kingdom, but do not let me hear another word about those horrible locusts." And so the strange storyteller married the king's daughter, and he lived happily in the land for many years. But his father-in-law, the king, never wanted to listen to his stories. That storyteller was very clever. He knew that the king needed to learn that it's not always a bad thing for stories to come to an end. That means that a new story can start, just like we've started a new year. We hope this year is full of lovely stories and no locusts. Happy New Year from all of us here.
Happy New Year indeed, and thank you, Nicola, for another top-notch telling of that story. We weren't sure how long that one was going to go, but Deprecatus was very focused on counting locusts. Yeah, he didn't last too long. So Blunderface Jr., how does someone get a shout-out on our show?
Yeah, remember, if you want a shout-out, just send us a DM on Instagram at Stories From Now and Then, and you might get a future episode dedicated to you.
Thanks for listening, everybody. Stories From Now and Then is narrated by Nicola Ward. Music by Captain Blunderface. Captain Blunderface played by Evan Wiebe. Blunderface Jr. played by Tennyson Wiebe. Stay clever out there, and we'll see you next time on
Stories from Now and Then.